Hey, what's up? How's it going, everybody? Hope this video reaches everyone well. Um, so, something happened today and it triggered something. Trigger is the perfect word. It triggered a few things. One of those things was for me to quickly make a video before I forget, because this is something I've wanted to record for a very, very long time. To record and share this. This is probably one of the most critical, most important pieces of information that all of us out there need to understand so that we can navigate, take charge of the steering wheel of our life, and realize what's happening to us, why we behave in the way we do, why we find it difficult to change habits, break addictions, let go of things, adapt, evolve, and move forward. Why those things are so hard. Okay? Knowing this information helped me so much in my life. And it has allowed me to come to a place where I'm always very aware of new addictions that might be forming, new attachments that might be forming, and then it gives me that opportunity to decide whether or not I'm okay with those attachments and addictions to form. Because, there are some attachments and addictions that are healthy and fine. For example, eating pears. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So let's dive right into this. What was it that triggered me to remember this video? Was this phone was in my hand. And I received a notification, and for a lot of you who have phones, it makes that vibration, that vroom, vroom, that noise, right? So this, like I said, is something I've wanted to talk about for a very, very long time, and I hope everyone out there will be able to follow and understand this. Not only follow and understand, but to understand how important this is for our happiness, for our health, for being able to take control of our life, and rather than being controlled by our emotions, by our addictions, by other things, outside influences. Okay, so had my phone in my hand, and a notification came in, vibrated, right? Instantly, adrenaline was released through my body. Endorphins, adrenaline. There are chemicals that were immediately released by that simple buzzing. And because I was holding it, it almost magnified it a little bit. Now, I get the same thing even if I'm not holding it, even if it's just my phone is far away and I hear the vroom, vroom, Now, why is that happening? And I wonder how many people out there this happens for as well. I'm sure many people, either subconsciously or consciously, you'll be aware of that adrenaline, that excitement, that rush. Why? Because someone is messaging you, okay? And you're receiving attention. You're receiving something, okay? Notification. Now, I can tell you for me, that it's the reason I get that rush and that excitement. For example, being in a, dating someone, being in a relationship at the moment, or previous relationships, that's the sound, that vibration, that sound is associated with that excitement of a relationship or the dating phase, or when I was going through the dating phases and I was, using different messaging applications. Every time I'd get a message from someone I was seeing or, spending time with. So my phone vibration, that noise became linked, associated with the person that I'm seeing, that relationship, the excitement. So it's going to be all those things, the sex, the excitement of hanging out, the fun, all the fun and stimulating things associated with seeing someone, dating, or being in an intimate, exciting relationship. All those things, the sex, the fun, all of it, got associated with that simple vroom vroom, that buzzing sound. So every time that buzzing sound would happen, and the excitement and thrill, that adrenaline that's released into your body, is because your body is expecting a reward. Okay? And this happens over time. So, it's not that the first time that ever happened I would have felt this way. No, it happened over time, over months, over, weeks, over, even it can happen over days. Like, it can happen quickly, but usually it's over time. And then what happens is that becomes an instinctual response. Remember in my videos how I talk about, it all begins with thoughts. So you hear the buzzing, and then you think, oh, it's that beautiful girl that I'm seeing, or that good-looking guy who I'm just started dating or talking to. Or it's my girlfriend, or it's my boyfriend, or oh, it's my wife, or oh, it's my husband. Or it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friend that, you like and stimulates you, or it can be something business related, a client, an email from a client, or text message from a client, where you have associated with money, or success, or security. Okay, so there's literally an endless list of stimulating things, or things that are basically, at the end of the day, it's things that are associated with our survival. So if you're dating, if you're seeing someone, it's exciting. Why? Because your body is associating that with survival, sex, reproduction, being with someone, developing a relationship, a partnership. Look, my phone just went, and the same thing, So, or it could be, if I like I said, business related, or money coming in. That's your survival, right? Your survival. So it's usually things related to, ultimately, the ultimate root of it, the core of it, is anything that links into your increased chances of survival. So your security, your, anything that's going to basically ensure that your survival is more secure and guaranteed. Okay, that's taking it too deep. Let's come back up to the surface. So the excitement, it develops over time. So that noise becomes a trigger. And if you look into scientific studies, throughout history, how we have, studied animals and done tests with animals of how, we reward them. Like if there's a little light that comes on and the animal eventually learns to go to the light and then get some food, then from now on, whenever that light comes on, the animal always, comes. And it's the same with the opposite. If that buzzing sound for me was, or for all of us, was associated with something negative happening, like let's say you just lost money, and that noise was only linked to the fact that you've just lost something or lost money, then when that noise would happen, instead of the excitement and the endorphins and the adrenaline, you'd feel, that fear response, that dread, response. Okay, so why is all this so important for us to understand when we're talking about how to let go, or why it's so difficult to stop thinking of an ex, or why it's so difficult to let go of a person, or it doesn't have to do with just exes or letting go of people. Why is it so difficult for us to change or adapt or evolve or move forward? Why? Because similarly to the buzzing sound, that gets linked to, why has it gotten to that point where the buzz just automatically releases adrenaline? Why? Because it started off with a thought. So the buzzing makes me think of the beautiful girl or the exciting person that I'm spending time with, and then it's just linked to all those thoughts of like the sex or the fun or the hanging out or the sense of I have someone, partnership. So those are thoughts. So it starts with thoughts. Okay, so the first time it ever happened, I would think, oh, it must be that person, but I wouldn't get the instinctual, adrenaline. Then it happened again, I think again. Then after like so many times of reinforcing that thought, the thought becomes a belief. So after a month of thinking the same thing every time I hear the vibration, then when the vibration happens, I instantly believe it's a good thing. Okay? And what happens? So it starts with thoughts, then it goes thoughts, repeated thoughts become beliefs. Okay? So they become more solidified, more strong. They become beliefs. And then repeated beliefs become instinctual responses. And that's exactly what I mean. It's like when it becomes biological, So after, let's say, 3 or 4 months of the same thoughts, the same, the buzzing linked with the thought, after 3 or 4 months, it's no longer a thought anymore. It's no longer a belief. It becomes biological instinct that when the buzzing happens, there's an adrenaline, there's this excitement, and my immediate response is to go to the phone, because that's where the love, the wholeness, the health, the security, all that good stuff that biologically we are programmed for, we're drawn to it. Yes, that's a source of goodness for us. Okay, we've led ourselves to believe that. And in many cases, yeah, there are healthy addictions. Again, food is, good food is a healthy addiction, healthy food. And what I'm trying to explain with this video is that anything can become an addiction. Okay, anything can become a habit. Being depressed is a habit. Being happy is a habit. Okay? And how do you create a habit of being happy? Is by being happy, by the whole process I just explained. Thinking happy, then believing happy, until it becomes instinctual, biological. That's why we do the journaling. And when I talk about journaling, I'm noticing a lot of people out there, especially once I start to coach them, I realize that the type of journaling they're doing is not the type of journaling that I'm talking about. The type of journaling that I'm talking about is exactly what I've just described. Writing down thoughts that you want to become addictive thoughts. So if you're going to write down in your journal, oh, I miss him so much, I will never let him go, it's so hard for me to let go of him, I'm full of anger and sadness in my life. So if you keep on writing that kind of stuff, well then that's going to become your belief that you can't let go, you can't move on, you're not happy. If you're just dumping all your feelings out, all you're doing is you're just reinforcing those feelings. Okay? Yeah, there is a slight, good thing about it, which is that you're releasing things. But, this is all for another video, but, I will argue that, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and I know many, many, many friends of mine who are also artists and musicians who stay depressed, who stay angry, who, never progress. Why? Because they'll write a song like let's take Lionel Richie's incredible 80s song, such a beautiful song, but the lyrics, stuck on you, he's talking about this girl that he's stuck on. I imagine singing that every day for years and years, that he's stuck on you, like he's just stuck on this girl, right? So I mean, what help is that going to do? Like, if the lyric is something along the lines of, I'm stuck on myself, that's much better, right? Or, so it's so important to be very aware of the things that are being repetitive in your life. What are the things that you are repetitively doing? Because those things will become those things will become a habit. So if you want to be happier or more confident or whatever, more depressed, angrier, then just do those things more and more and more. Or subject yourself to things that, your environment that will bring those things out of you more. Which is why, it's so important that, I'm always talking about, what are the foods you're eating? What are the clothes you're wearing? Who are the people you're spending time with? What are the activities that you're doing? What are every single little detail of your life is so important, because those things that you're doing, your environment, are going to influence how you think. And it all comes down to thoughts. Because what you're thinking over and over and over, like, oh, the world is a crappy place, the world is a crappy place, people suck, people suck, people suck, becomes a belief eventually. When it's a belief, it becomes more difficult to change that belief. You're going to have to do a lot of counter thinking of people are amazing, people are amazing, people are amazing, to like counter what has led you to that belief that people suck. Okay, and then remember, if you entertain that belief of people suck for long enough, it will become instinctual, so that when you go out in the world, without even being in control of it, you're going to have the fear and adrenaline. You're just going to feel like, people suck, and you no longer have the control. So understanding how your biology works, how our mind works, is so important, because the best time to break an addiction or to let go of someone is right at the start. When you have the breakup, or when you decide that, I'm going to, leave my work, or I've just lost my job, or you've lost your house, or you've lost someone that you love. That's the moment right there that you want to become aware of what are the repetitive thoughts now that you're thinking. Are you thinking, oh, she was so amazing, oh, he was so amazing, he was the best, I'll never find anyone like... And then you do that over and over and over again. And this is why some people, sadly, never heal from a breakup, or will never get over someone. I'm not going to say never, we all eventually do, but can make it much longer. It will take years sometimes for people, because why? Because they have sadly not had the right guidance, not had the right kind of information, aren't aware of all this stuff, aren't aware that if you think in your mind, that person, you'll never be happy again. Well, that thought needs to be addressed, because if it goes unchecked and repeated over and over and over, which sadly happens for most people unconsciously, which means they are having that thought, the negative self-talk, without being aware that they're doing it. Okay, so awareness is like the first and foremost most important thing. That's why people talk about meditation so much. Meditation is just one of 1,000 different forms of training your awareness, training your focus, because meditation is all about observation, observing your breathing, observing your presence, your environment, observing the thoughts that you're having. And it takes practice, it takes time, okay? But it becomes habit, just like the buzz of the phone becomes habit, becomes instinctual. Well, so can and so does awareness and meditation. You practice it first over and over and over, repetitions, right? Reps. In the gym we call them reps. You practice over and over and over, and until it becomes instinctual, habitual. And what that means is that when a negative thought comes and you've been doing this for a while, instinctually you're going to become aware of it and be like, no, it's a negative thought. Excuse me. And then you counter it. Say, no, that's not true, that thought. So I'm not going to go into all the techniques, the specific techniques and everything in this video, because I have talked about them in other videos, and that's what I do with, one-to-one when I'm coaching people, when I'm with my clients. We go into all the details and the techniques, and as I say, I'm not like I consider myself, I don't know if lazy is the right word, but I don't believe in like working your ass off. Like, I believe in doing little but consistent over time. Okay, so I'll do like this type of work, the journaling, not the dumping your emotions out, but correct type of journaling, It can be even affirmations. I am confidence. I am peace. I am calm. I am love. I am happiness. Whatever it is, those thoughts, as you repeat them over and over, become beliefs, and then they become instinctual, So you're programming yourself. You're programming your mind. The thing is that you are already programming yourself. It's just most of us are being programmed without being aware of it. We're being unconsciously programmed. So what I'm talking about here isn't that you're now going to program yourself. No, you've always been programmed. Every day you go out in the world, since the day you were born, you're being programmed. But now you're taking control of your programming, and you're making sure that you're going to program your mind, which is linked and influences your body. You're going to program it in a way that serves you, okay? In a way that's not going to lead you to being depressed, in a way that's not going to lead you to being anxious all the time, in a way that's going to, help you in life, and those things that we want, that help us are to have more confidence, have more peace, have more happiness, have more joy, less suffering, okay? And it's all within our power. All this stuff that I'm talking about now, we're going to get there one day where this is all going to be taught to us, as it should be when we're children, These are things that we should all know and all learn, but for some reason it's not taught to us, and it sometimes makes me wonder, well, the most empowering and the most powerful things, which are this, like how to use your mind, how to turn yourself into a powerful person, are not taught to us. Instead, we're all turned into slaves, or like, it's in many books and movies talk about, like The Matrix, for example, is a great movie that talks about how humans are turned into a battery, We're just conditioned to wake up, go to work, produce money, come back home, spend the money, go to sleep, wake up again, go to work. We're just fueling the economy. And there's nothing wrong with all of this, by the way. Just be aware of it, that's all. It's an honorable, beautiful thing to have a job. It's actually very healthy for you as well. So work is important. So I'm not one of these people who's like, screw the 9 to 5 and screw all this. No. You cannot judge that at all. You cannot judge any way of life, okay? But be aware. Awareness is important. The only reason why that type of life might suck is if you're suffering, and if you're miserable, and if you're unhappy, okay? So being aware doesn't mean that you have to stop that lifestyle. No, by being aware you can enhance, adjust, and evolve, that lifestyle so that it's healthier and bringing more happiness into your life, more balance. And it's totally doable. Okay, so let's go back to the gist of this, which is, the vibration of the phone. I'll give you another example. When I was at university, actually since I was about, I think like about 15, 16, I started like becoming more self-conscious. And I remember doing like some public speaking for the first time, and I had a really bad experience. Like I was nervous, I was shaking, and what made it worse was right after my presentation, this girl who was right in front of me came up to me and she said, "Oh, you were shaking," and then just the fact that she had observed that, in my mind, it stuck in my mind. And then, of course, at that time in my life, I didn't know about all of this stuff. So I naturally started thinking about that a lot. And what do your thoughts do? They become beliefs. So you're shaking, you're nervous, you're not good at public speaking. Nobody is. Everyone gets nervous public speaking, especially when you don't prepare. And I didn't prepare. I didn't believe in preparation or anything like that. But preparation makes confidence. Confidence comes from preparation. Even people who do this all the time still get nervous speaking in public, but they prepare. And their preparation, whether you're a fighter, whether you're a musician, when I go on tour with my band, we practice so much. We practice so much over and over and over and over again, and that's what brings confidence. So there's a little quick nugget in this video of like how to be more confident. Confidence comes from preparation, okay? Well, preparation can help tremendously, but if you're paying attention, you'll know that it's all about the repetitive thoughts. So when I'm thinking, back when I'm 17 and I just did that and the girl said that, I'm thinking, I'm bad at public speaking, I'm bad at public speaking, I'm bad at public speaking. I get nervous in front of people, I get nervous talking in front of people. So I'm doing that and that, whereas before that moment, no, I was fine. I didn't have those fears, those thoughts. But anyway, to continue the story, so going through finishing school, and I went to university in England, and at college, at university, I had to do more of that presentation. I always tried to avoid it. It became a fear that I was trying to avoid. And my mom, I remember at the time, my mom's so sweet. She's such a giving, incredible person. I've learned so much from her and my father. My parents are really amazing. I'm really blessed. They're not perfect. No one's perfect, but anyway. So my mom got me this oil from like a holistic store or something, and the oil is like basically like a calming oil. You put it like it's supposed to help with your anxiety. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like lavender or some mix of different natural oils. But I remember I used to put that on like behind my ear, or on my neck, or on my wrist, or just somewhere where I could smell it. And I'd put it on every time I would have like an interview or a presentation or something where I needed to be calm. Now the funny thing is, after a while, that smell would trigger fear for me. So the oil that's supposed to help you, help me be more relaxed, every time I would open it, I'd get nervous because that smell became associated with the fear, the fearful activity. So now, if I even smell that, it triggers those thoughts. But now I know how to handle it and how to counter it and how to engage with those thoughts. That's the key word. Learning. This is what we all are here learning, sharing. This is what I want to share. This is what I want everyone out there to take seriously and realize that you can, over time, by little by little, doing the correct techniques, journaling, thinking the right way over and over and over again. That's essentially what it comes down to, thinking the right way. Or thinking, let's forget about the right way, but thinking in a way that serves you, okay? That empowers you, energizes you, uplifts you, okay? So if I smell that oil now, it immediately triggers fear and anxiety. Isn't that hilarious? You know? And another example of this is, have you ever walked onto an escalator? You know, an escalator? The automatic stairs that go up and down. An escalator that's not working. Have you ever stepped onto that or walked onto one of that? Or even the ones at the airport that are flat, you know, that you walk on them, they just move, help move you faster. Have you ever walked onto an escalator or one of those things that was broken or not working? I don't know if you guys have experienced the same thing as me, but when I walk onto one of those things that's not working, like, it's a weird feeling. Like, you step on it and you're like, oh, whoa, this one's not working. Because, again, over time, you've created a conditioned habit, an instinctual response, that when you step on an escalator, that you're going to be preparing yourself to move. But when one's not working, there's a very weird feeling, okay? And again, that's another fact, some more evidence that how our entire life is set up this way. Everything in our life is set up this way, okay? So we are just a ball of organic material that is functioning based on how we have been conditioned since birth. So the things that make us angry or sad or depressed, the reason we get angry, sad, or depressed is because of the way we're conditioned, okay? Or the things that make us excited is because of the way we've been conditioned. So it's an incredibly complex world, and we're all completely different and unique to each other. So we all have to wind up becoming our own coaches and to understand yourself. The Greeks in their buildings and temples would write on the entrances, "Know thyself. Know who you are. Know thyself. Know how you work, how your behavior functions. Know why you behave in certain ways." What do you need to be able to do that? The first thing is awareness. Or the first thing is all this knowledge, you know? So with this knowledge, you can apply awareness, train your awareness to become aware of your thoughts, to become aware of all the things and why you behave in a certain way, why you get irritated by certain people, why, you know, you are attracted to certain things that might not be healthy, you know, like unhealthy toxic addictions, you know, which could be toxic relationships. Why are you attracted to a toxic relationship? Could it be, you know, something to do with your parents, you know, that you were not getting the attention from your father or your mom, and so you need that similar, you know, you're attracted to similar sorts of people because you feel like that's your chance to get that, you know, attention. It's your chance to continue that relationship, but in a way where you can, you know, or it's the type of relationship that you've just become conditioned to, comfortable with. Like you need someone to be toxic to you because that's what you grew up around with. Remember, brain elasticity, I talk about it in a lot of my videos, that it means that just because you're a certain way, even if you're 50 or 60 or 70, doesn't mean that it has to be like that for the rest of your life. No, in 6 months, in 3 months, if you work, if you retrain your mind, you can change. I have experienced it. I have done it. I went through hardcore, you know, it wasn't even that hardcore. I'm sure someone who's more disciplined and hardworking than me could have done it in quicker time. In fact, one of my clients, I would say, is probably working harder and is more disciplined than I was during my difficulty. And I'm noticing he's going through the changes much more quickly than I did. You know, so it's all about the hours, the time that you're putting in. You know, are you repetitive? How many reps are you putting in? You know? So in the gym, these are the reps. For the mind, the reps are the thoughts. How many times are you really genuinely thinking that your life is awesome, that your future is bright, that happiness is on the way, that the best is yet to come? How many times are you thinking those thoughts? Sadly, most of us are thinking the opposite thoughts. The best is behind me. The future is grim. And then you're thinking that constantly and constantly and constantly and constantly, and then we're depressed or anxious, have anxiety or depression, and then we're like, what's wrong with me? And then this world we live in says, well, you got to take this medication to fix yourself, or people drink because the medications aren't working, to numb the pain or to bury the pain, or they'll do drugs to give them that, just quick stimulating happiness, where they'll go into a toxic relationship with someone who's hot, who's physically gorgeous, and the sex is incredible and stimulating, but it's a toxic relationship, which means it's like that heroin. It's sweet and it's stimulating and it gives you that high, but the low is crushing. And then when you break up or those toxic relationships start to disintegrate, because they will, they're not healthy relationships, then you're left with the low, the heroin low. Okay, so the reason why you find it hard to stop thinking of a person or letting go of a person is because of all this, because you have spent so much time being conditioned, your mind has learned that this person is my source of happiness, but as Master Yoda in Star Wars says, you must unlearn what you have learned. So, and we can all unlearn it. And yes, it's hard, but that hardship, that difficulty is, you're going to love that pain eventually, because that's a good, healthy pain. It's a pain of healing. It's a healing pain. Okay? In our gym, one of our mottos is, pain is weakness leaving the body. And it is so true. And you know what else is interesting about that statement is that statement in itself is a positive affirmation. That statement in itself is a counterbalance, a positive counterbalance, because the pain of working out and training is so horrible. Nobody likes it. It's just a horrible feeling. We hate it, being out of breath. You feel like you're dying. But yet, a gym, which is a place of evolution, a place of becoming strong and healthy, their motto is pain is weakness leaving the body. And if you can think that over and over and over, pain is weakness leaving the body, just that statement in itself is an incredible belief that would help you in life to turn into an instinctual response by thinking it, believing it, allowing it to become who you are. Alright, so this video has gotten quite long, and it's a difficult concept, I have found, for people to understand or to take seriously. A lot of people will just shrug all this off and be like, okay, yeah, I get it, and then continue down the rabbit hole of being controlled by their emotions, being controlled by their thoughts, and just suffering and just going through this world like just like a headless chicken, banging into the walls, and then coming back and saying, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why am I suffering? Blah, blah, So I say this in a lot of my videos, that pain is our greatest teacher, and eventually when you're doing toxic things over and over, thank God for pain, because pain is what wakes us up. And when we have enough pain, that's when we wake up more and more. And when we get to that point where we've had enough pain and suffering, that's when we finally wake up. We're like, okay, I need to pay attention to this. Every time I'm having meaningless sex, it's making me more empty and depressed. Like, I'm going to wake up now. I'm going to take that seriously. or every time I drink, it makes my life worse. Or every time I'm in a rebound relationship, it makes me emptier and more sad. Or every time I take a drug that I don't need, or a drug just to give me that high, it makes me feel like more shit. Or every time I masturbate or jerk off, it makes me feel more miserable and, whatever. Or every time I'm playing video games, whatever it is, there's a long list of things. So find the peach in your life. Excuse me. But find the healthy addictions in your life. Anything can be an addiction. Anything can become an addiction. Happiness can become an addiction. Happiness is habit. One of the things that I need to work on making a habit of is my breathing through my nose. I breathe through my mouth. It became a habit because I have a broken nose, but what I found is just my posture. When I correct my posture, it makes my breathing better. So, these are all habits. And if you want me to sit down and talk about all the habits that I work on every day, the list is going to be probably like close to 800 different things that I'm constantly being aware of. My posture, the way I walk, my diet, the things that I eat. So you can either take control of the plane, as I've talked about before, become the pilot and guide the plane, or you can be a passenger. All right, everybody, sending everyone out there all the best. I hope you guys are enjoying all these videos and learning something from them. I highly recommend, if you are taking this seriously, to have a journal, a notepad, and make notes whenever you hear something that connects with you, that makes sense. And don't just, make the notes, but put them into practice, okay? I was just talking with one of my clients the other day about how there are many people out there who have a vast amount of knowledge. They've read a lot of books. They know all about eating right and how to eat and what to eat. They know all about the chakras and they've read millions of books. Let's not say millions, but hundreds of books, and their knowledge is vast, but they're not doing anything with it. Okay? So it's better that you know a few things, but you're actually doing them. Remember in my last video I talked about doing one kick 1,000 times instead of doing 1,000 different kicks once. All right, everybody. Hope everyone's okay. And remember, we're all in the same boat. You're not alone. We're all on this earth trying to understand ourselves better, trying to improve ourselves. And all of this that we're talking about is helping, it's part of our evolution. It's part of us becoming more equipped, more able to enjoy our lives more rather than suffer, and to survive in a better way, to find a better mate, a better relationship, to find better foods, to find better activities, to live in a stronger, healthier way, so that we will be able to pass on to our next generation more knowledge, so that they will be able to evolve, and hopefully our world can improve and things. Our world is amazing. It is improving already, and we're a part of it. So let's all be a part of it, okay? And it starts with ourselves. So enjoy, and hopefully talk to you guys soon. Adios for now. Bye.